Welcome to another episode of Electable. I'm Deb Chubb, and our podcast is sponsored by the Indiana Women's Action Movement. Today, we are very fortunate to be talking to another terrific candidate for the Indiana State Auditor position. So I know we've been doing a lot of state legislator positions. Today, we're doing state auditor. So this is a statewide race. So people all over the state will be voting in this race. And we're very excited to get to talk to Zenai Brooks, who's running for state auditor. And as you can see, she's on the go. She's moving around the state. She's got a lot of ground to cover in her campaign. And so we've just been able to catch up with her in her car. So we're very excited to talk with Zenai today. So tell us why you're running. Tell us a little bit about your background too. Tell us what about yourself and tell us why you're running for state auditor.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for having me. I am en route to Evansville for a day. So that's why I'm in the car. But Zenai Brooks running for state auditor, fundamentally, I'm a community servant, a servant leader. I spent majority of my career and adult life advocating on behalf of the less fortunate and trying to affect change in our communities. So my career is in accounting and finance. I am a CPA. I work currently at Cummins, where I manage our budget for corporate responsibility and the foundation. Before then, I spent 14 years in public accounting as an auditor. On not-for-profit organizations. I serve on different boards, National Association of Black Accountants, the Indiana CPA Society, our church. My husband pastors the church, so we do a lot of civic activity there. So everything I do is really centered around, like I said, advocacy, looking over finances, ensuring trust, financial reporting. So I found a way to connect like my business skills, my career with what I really care about. So when I was kind of approached to run for this office as the state auditor, it just lines up with everything that I've already been doing in my career. And so this, you talked about interviewing the different state legislators. I view this role as an extension of the state legislators. I was on a call the other day with Senator Bro, and she said that it was just that, like the legislator sets policy, directs the budget, and then when they're not in session, this auditor, along with the treasurer and the state board of finance, meet monthly to review, approve any changes to the budget or any funding allocations to the various agencies. So that's one part of what the role is, which I'm super excited to be able to add a voice for the community, to be able to, hold some agencies accountable. How are we spending the money? Is it really affecting change within our communities? And then the other part of the role is a lot of the CFO type operations. So accounting, finance, paying the state's bills, financial reporting, internal controls, like all of the typical like accounting nerdy type stuff. So, it's very much a business type role. So I'm excited to be in that. Historically, it's been a position that people have leveraged to just kind of propel themselves into some other role of government. And I don't think it should be used that way. So I'm happy to add my CPA expertise into the position.
Yeah, I bet you are one of very few candidates who have ever run for this office who are actually qualified in accounting. And I, have been yelping for months now that we need to be very careful because although we're very fortunate that the federal government is sending tons of money to the states, including Indiana, and Indiana is sitting on this huge surplus, we have to be very, very careful about that money being spent properly, that it's going to the place it's supposed to go, that it is affecting the change it was intended to affect. And so your position is crucial to making sure that all of that money that's coming through is being spent properly and is being paid properly, and there is no, shenanigans. When there is this much money coming around, then, there's just that much more likelihood of, shenanigans. So I'm really pleased to have you as a candidate, someone who's just super qualified in accounting, because I think that makes a huge difference. So tell us more about what you want to do as a state auditor.
Yeah, and so you kind of hit it right on the head. I want to ensure that we are, as a state, investing back in communities, especially those that need it the most, who are typically, underserved, underrepresented. I've been around the state and talked to enough people to validate what I've already seen, which is that in certain areas, we still have a lot of deserts, whether it's food access, which we know Indiana, is like top three in that, and then infant mortality, healthcare, funding of our education systems. There's just so many places where people feel like we're not investing the right amount of dollars. And so when they see money coming into the state, when they see resources coming in that can really help the communities, but then they're not feeling the direct impact of that, it causes some frustration. So me running allows people to feel a little more comfortable that there is somebody in the office advocating on behalf of our Black and Brown communities, our women, our rural and farm communities, our entrepreneurs and small businesses. And we just need more people like myself, more young people, more young women, more young people of color to really be in the state house to affect some of these decisions. So, I'm running to affect change. I'm running to use my expertise, but I'm also running to be an example for other people of how they can use their skills to, serve in state government, which historically is not something that I would have, it wasn't on my goal of things to do. I had been approached before and was like, no, I'm good. My little corporate jobs, I'm going to be, a partner here or a CFO here. But what better way to really serve the community than being a CFO for the state? So I really want to restore trust, in state government and finances, add a voice for the people, ensure, transparency so people do know what's happening, and just making sure our office is always accessible to people. Because that's another thing that I've heard is, we've reached out to the budget agency or we've reached out to the auditor, nobody responds. So I don't want to be that person. So I've always been accessible. My social media, everything is open. So if people want to get in contact with me, I'm out there. I'm not hiding. The same thing with church. So I'm, really hoping to elevate the position in a way that people see it as a resource in addition to the business of the state.
That's great. And I have to add to that, I mean, what an example. I mean, have we ever had an African American woman auditor before?
No, not.
Unlikely. And this would be, such a beautiful example for young girls all over the state to see someone like you. And it's, not just a figurehead. You're not just a shallow model. You're actually a very more qualified auditor than we've ever had before.
Yeah,
So
sure. Thanks for
so
saying
this
that.
is just, yeah, well, and that's really wonderful, and I'm very excited for that. So we've got I know you've got a lot of work to do, and you've got a lot of ground to cover, and it's great to see you out there going all over the state, meeting with people. I've met you in several places now, and I know you're all over. And so tell us, how can we reach you? How can people help your campaign? How can we get you elected?
Sure. So my all of my campaign socials are Vote Zenai, VOTE Zenai, ZENAI. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, which is my professional profile, but I put campaign stuff on there. Um, I think, a way for people to help, obviously donations help because, we're traveling, we'll be gone a lot this weekend. So for gas, food to help pay my friends that are driving me, my campaign managers here with this
Hello.
Ariel.
Oh,
Um,
hi,
but
Ariel.
yes, so we're, always collecting money, but also what I tell people, boots on the ground, because I can't be everywhere, right? And so if we can have people in the different cities and towns and counties speaking on behalf of me and, on behalf of Jessica and Destiny, that is also very helpful. I think we gave you some lit things to hand out while canvassing. We need
Yep.
people to help make calls. And so it's, if somebody raises their hand, we can give a call list to people to call in their community. So those are a couple of ways, where our calendar is filling up, but if anyone wants to host a fundraiser or a house party where you just gather folks and we talk about the importance of the election, how to make sure you're registered, who to vote for. At this point, I'm not telling people who to vote for. Obviously, I want people to vote for me, but I just want us to increase our voter turnout higher than, 10%. If we increase it a lot higher, then we do have a great chance of winning.
Yeah, that is one of the issues, isn't it? Is that we really struggle with voter turnout in this state, and we need to get people to the polls. And coupled with that is the fact that people often don't go all the way down to those lines on the ballot that are these positions: the auditor, secretary of state, and state treasurer. And this year in
For
particular,
sure.
those are, much more vital races than they've ever been before. We cannot, in a
Yeah.
supermajority, having a Republican in those kinds of offices just is, it will tip us right over the edge as far as, I don't know, accountable behavior and, and getting elections
Yeah.
secured and securing the finances of this state.
Yeah. And, getting rid of the supermajority, it starts with these races. And, we'll actually be at the top of the ticket, which is good. So Tom
Good.
McDermott, who's running for US Senate he's Mayor Tom in South in Hammond, but he'll be at the top, and it'll be us three women, me, Jessica, and Destiny. So, just people having awareness of who's on the ticket, why these roles are important to them, just like you said, ensuring Destiny's focus on election or voter access, election security, and certifying our small businesses. Those are her key talking points. Myself and Jessica, how is the state investing? Is the state making money but also reinvesting in that? So these are important. So we got to connect the dots for people so they understand what does it mean for them in their everyday lives.
Right. And I think that, like, again, when there's a supermajority in charge, there's a Republican governor, that means that nobody's really watching. Nobody's paying attention. And transparency has been something that Republicans have, had an allergy to in our state. So it would be just a breath of fresh air to have transparency in these top positions. So I am so looking forward to that. Okay, so we can find you at votezenai.com,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Zenai. And then, and you're on social media, same thing. And you
Mm-hmm.
need help with phone calling. All right, I think that's pretty good. I think people should be able to reach you with that information, and I hope they do. I know I'll be seeing you soon. I think you're coming up here on Saturday. Is that right? Up to LaPorte County? You don't even know, do you? You
I
just
think it's
opened your door.
tomorrow. I think it's Friday.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And I've enjoyed chatting with you all this time. And so I'm, just really thrilled to work with you and support you. I think you're just going to be an outstanding candidate. And our state really needs great qualified people like you.
I appreciate that. Thanks for the opportunity and the exposure.
Absolutely. So yeah. So, and hopefully, everything will go well. Maybe we'll check in a little later, see how things are going. And good luck today, and good luck on the rest of the campaign.
I appreciate that. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.